Hey everyone, Neil, Other People's Shoes with you, and I'm excited about a book giveaway that we are doing for the month of December. I don't know about you, but I have at times felt unworthy. I've struggled with doubt, definitely have a pride issue. I've made excuses for past behaviors. I've lived in fear. I've let all those things be a pattern of paralysis. And I know during COVID, we've all felt a little disconnected. Maybe you're with me. Well, my friends Mark and Crystal Hansen have co-written a book together called Ask, the Bridge from Your Dreams to Your Destiny. And we want to give you a chance to get a copy of it because this book really can change your life for the better. Now, you might remember Mark. He's the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, which, by the way, that book has sold over 5 million copies. Guys, I want to give you an opportunity to win this book, and here's how. From now till December 23rd on our Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter under OPS Podcast Show, if you comment right below that every day at 10 a.m., hashtag AskNow, you will be entered in to win your signed copy of Ask, the Bridge from Your Dreams to Your Destiny. And in fact, Mark and Crystal love you guys so much, they're going to give you a second copy to give away to a friend, family member, or coworker because they firmly believe this book should be walked through with someone in your life. So hopefully you will not miss out on this opportunity. Again, every day at 10 a.m. at OPS Podcast Show, you will see a special post with the book Ask, the Bridge from Your Dreams to Your Destiny. Don't miss out on this now. Go comment right now and stay tuned for the show. Welcome into Other People's Shoes. As you know, I'm your host, Neil Matthews. Thank you so much for joining us today, and a Merry Christmas to you. Today's episode is going to require something of you. Here's the requirement. I'm going to ask you to give us a little bit of extra grace, a little bit of extra attention today, because today's episode is going to test your hearing, it's going to test your patience, but more importantly, it's really going to test your heart. We're going to lead off today's episode with a 911 call that our guest placed in her What Happened When. And I don't want to give too much of the episode away because I do want you to listen, but just be aware there are some audio challenges in this. We did our very best to give you the best episode we can. But without further ado, here is our episode today. And again, Merry Christmas to you. And do me one favor before we start. Will you just go hug somebody that you love and tell them that you love them? Do that for me. Here we go.
Hey, come take a walk with me. Not like you used to do. Do something different and put yourself in other people's shoes. Open up your mind and open up your eyes and change your direction, change your perspective.
Collier County 911. What is the address of your emergency? Okay, is there a unit number there, ma'am?
I don't know the unit number.
Okay. Is it a house, though? Okay, I have it. What's your name? What's the phone number you're calling me from? Okay, do you need police, fire, or medical?
Medical.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I can't wake my dad up.
Okay, stay on the line, sweetie. Okay, stay on the line. I have help on the way. Don't hang up, okay?
Okay.
How old are you, sweetie?
19.
Okay.
I'm at home with my dad, and I can't wake him up.
Okay. All right, help is on the way. I have some questions for you, okay?
Okay.
Are you with him now?
Yeah.
How old is he?
64.
Okay. All right, so is he awake?
Not now.
Okay. Is he breathing?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
For sure, but his skin tone is different.
All right, stay on the line, okay? They're coming as fast as they can. I have more questions. I'm making a note for the paramedics, so don't hang up, okay?
Okay.
Paramedics are coming to help you now. Stay on the line.
I hope my dad would. I really hope he lives.
Okay, just take a deep breath, okay? If there's a defibrillator or an AED available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
It's not available. I'm
okay.
at home, so should I?
Okay, listen carefully.
Drag him off the couch and give him CPR?
Yes, I'm going to give you some instructions, but listen carefully, okay? Are you right by him now?
Yeah.
Okay, listen carefully. Lay him flat on his back on the floor and remove anything under his head.
There's nothing under his head.
Okay, is he on the floor, hon?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's on a wood floor under a carpet. Can he be under a carpet?
Yeah, it's okay, just as long as he wasn't on the bed or sofa. You have him on the ground?
Yep,
Okay.
I dragged him off the couch.
All right, is he breathing?
I'm not
Okay.
sure. Okay, don't see his belly rising and falling.
Okay. Listen carefully, and I'll tell you how to do chest compressions, okay? Make sure he is flat on his back on the floor. Place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples. You can put me on speaker, okay?
I did.
All right. Do you have that hand there?
Yeah,
Okay, now put your other hand on top of that hand.
I did.
Okay. Now pump the chest hard and fast, at least twice per second and 2 inches deep. Let the chest come all the way up between pumps. We're going to do this until help can take over, okay? Count out loud so I can count with you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 29, 30, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 41, 42, 46, 10, 9, 40, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 48, 49, 51. Tired of counting. I'll keep working for
Okay, I'm gonna help you, okay?
as possible.
All right. You're doing a great job so far. Just keep going, okay? We're going to help him until help can get there, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to help you count out loud, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep doing the compressions over and over and don't give up, okay? This will keep them going until the paramedics arrive. And tell me when they're right with him or if anything changes, okay?
Okay.
Is the door open, hon?
So I think I'll see you
Well, hold on. Not right now. Just keep going, okay? I'll let you know. Keep going. Is anyone there with you?
No. Not that I noticed. No, not at all. I'm scared.
Who's with you?
Police with him.
Okay. Okay, all right. Let them take over, okay? You did a great job.
And my cat and my dog. And my mom's coming too.
Okay. Can you try to put the cat and dog away?
Yeah, hello.
And the address you gave me, is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house, and he's had a heart attack.
Okay.
He's had a heart attack.
Yeah,
And he's autistic. So.
Yeah, it looks like somebody did call.
Okay, good. Because I told her to call right away. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, how far away are you?
I'm about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And she's autistic, so she's going to try her best on the phone with your EMTs.
Welcome into Other People's Shoes. As you know, I am your host, Neil Matthews. Thank you so much for joining us today. I love it when we get an opportunity to go out to the great state of Florida. We've done it a couple of times now on the show, and every time I feel like we get this sunshine gem that comes out of Florida. And today is no exception. We again get a gem from a very amazing young woman, and I cannot wait to introduce her to you guys. She is a former basketball star, so we got to talk about that first. And we have Mom with us as well. So this is a first. We've never had a mom-daughter episode going on at the same time. So this is fun. Help me welcome in my guests. That's right. There's two of them. So we're going to have two pairs of shoes that we're in today. But first we're going to introduce Julie. Julie, how are you today?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Now, Julie, you're the mom of Kasie, and so I want to say hi to Kasie right now. Kasie, hi. How are you?
They can do good and bad parts.
You've had some good parts and bad parts today? Is that what you're telling me?
Yep.
Okay. Now, Julie, being the mom, help us out. How old is Kasie, if you don't mind sharing that? Kasie, you don't mind us knowing how old you are, do you?
No.
Okay. So Julie's the mom. Julie's going to kind of give us a little rundown on Kasie and just being a mom to Kasie and what that's been like and what that's been involved. But before we get to that, let's do some fun stuff first. Julie, help us out. What style of shoe do you like to wear?
It doesn't really matter what style of shoe it is as long as it has glitter or sparkles on it.
Glitter or sparkles? I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Kasie, can you hear me okay? What style of shoe do you like to wear?
I can't tell Lisa's story where slip-ons. I have a pair of custom Vans I really like.
Well, I've been Kasie's mom for 20 years, proudly. And Kasie she's my first child. And when she was born, immediately after she was born, she was diagnosed with Turner syndrome, which is a missing X chromosome that results in short stature and some other things that are mostly physical. But as she continued to grow, we noticed some things that were different about Kasie. And I think the most notable thing that I saw was that she taught herself to read by reading the backs of cars. So I never taught her to read. She was probably about 3 and she'd go, Audi, Lexus, Toyota, Ferrari. And, then I give her the books and I realized that she hadn't just memorized them from me reading them to her. She was reading the books. And so I knew there was a big difference in her from her other friends. But then also I noticed she didn't play like the other kids, and there was definitely a difference there. So I knew that there was something going on, and only later was she diagnosed with autism. And sorry about the dogs in the background. We've been really lucky because we've had a great educational situation. We've always gotten great teachers and great support. And that's really between the education and then her wonderful father being so supportive and her wonderful family. And then Kasie just being as awesome as she is. It's just been an amazing experience being her mom. It's sometimes been stressful worrying about her and worrying about if she's happy or if she's stressed out about her performance, but it's just been an amazing experience. So that's what I can say about being her mom. And I'm proud of her all the time, every day. I can't say it. I'm so proud. That's
so awesome. I'm so happy to hear you gushing over your daughter. That to me is so cool. So Kasie, you love wearing Vans tennis shoes, and I love that you love to wear Vans tennis shoes. That's really fun. So Kasie, what is the best part about living in Florida? Can you tell me that?
Sunsets on the beach and the opportunity to catch a space launch. Did I really want to show Mom and Jacob and Daniel a rocket launch?
Now I know because your mom told me, but you're
I added that to my bucket list.
You should definitely. That's on my bucket list too. So, Kasie, your mom told me you're going to college now. What are you going to college for?
Tony, because I'm hoping to get into some graduate programs for it after I finish my undergrad.
What are you studying in college?
Astronomy.
Astronomy. And why did you want to study astronomy? I mean, you could have picked any subject. What did
I know,
you?
because it first caught my attention while I was still in elementary school. That was when it first caught my attention.
That's great. What about it caught your attention? What about it was very
I don't know,
intriguing?
just about it being things beyond the earth that's all known, and then everything else with a lot of unknown. Like nowhere on earth has that much unknown besides the very deepest parts of the ocean.
And so you wanted to learn more about what's out there. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
And
Now,
just something about it that I'm not really sure what.
yeah, no, I love that. I think there's such power in knowing, not knowing what's out there, right? And wanting to know more and wanting to understand. I think there's a very powerful thing to be able to do that. And that's very exciting for me that you're studying that. So Kasie, you told us that your specific date was April 30th, 2020. Now, a lot of our previous guests that we've had on have shared past things that have happened to them in the past. Yours is pretty recent. What happened on April 30th of this year for you?
Said where first I found my dad dead. And after I was really patient for lunch for a couple hours, they came out to see what was going on and to get his attention. And I had to poke and shake him, but he didn't respond, so I called 911, and they determined that he'd been dead for a couple hours when they got there.
So Kasie, you were the one that found your dad? Is that what I'm hearing? What did that feel like for you? Do you remember that day, and do you remember calling 911 and what that was like?
I remember calling 911, and I remember my heart racing, and that the 911 operator walking through giving him CPR because they didn't know he completely like the more viable cells yet. But before I called 911 to make sure I really needed to, because I really didn't need to get arrested for a prank call or ticket. Like I just put my ear on his chest and didn't hear him reset. Then I called 911 and gave him CPR because I was hoping he could still be resuscitated. But then that wasn't the case, and that was the already started ending up being the worst day I can remember.
You said that,
yeah, and it doesn't end there on worst day ever. I also had to hit down an Australian Shepherd dog, Ernie, who is really old too, who lived at that house.
So you lost your dad and your dog all in the same day?
Yep.
That's tough stuff. How are you doing okay with that?
I'm pretty good so far, but I'm still not as good as I'm gonna get yet.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I bet you miss your dad a lot, huh?
Yep. Hands turning.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing about your dad that you guys would do together, maybe?
There may be a few times in Punta Gorda where we would go to an air show there.
You'd go to an air show, huh? That's fun. You get to see some planes do some tricks and stuff. That's fun, right?
there, and at one time the Angels finished it all off and here the grand finale, and second time hit the Thunderbirds, if you've heard of them, and the third time in F-35 solo.
I have actually seen the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds both. When I lived in California, my dad was in the Marine Corps, and we would have air shows all the time. And yeah, I will definitely thank him on your behalf for his service.
Yeah, because I understand that every single member of all 5 branches of our military, actually, there's a new one that's a Space Force, actually, that's brand new, that every member of every one of those branches risks his or her life for our country.
Yeah, they do. They do. You're absolutely right. So, Kasie, I want to ask you if you're okay still talking about this.
So far.
Okay. And if you ever aren't, you just tell me and we can move on to something else, okay?
Okay.
What would you, if you got another chance to talk to your dad again, what do you think you'd tell him if you could talk to him one more time?
That's a hard question. As in any rocket launches that we could have gotten to but didn't. Ippin also would have thanked him for being such a great dad.
Yeah.
I can't think of. There's probably a whole lot more.
I'm sure, yeah, and I kind of put you on the spot with that one, so it's okay. I'm sorry for that. I just was wondering.
Don't need to be sorry.
Okay, all right. Kasie, what do you think you learned about yourself on that day when you called 911? Did you learn anything about you?
Beyond that, I handled stress better than my mom's mom. Grandma, yeah, better than me. Grandma, because my mom's died a year before that. He actually died in a very similar way, and my grandma was the one to find him, and I was told that she wasn't anywhere near as calm as me when she called 911.
It is true, Neil.
So it's true. She handled it better than you did, Julie. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, he was saying that she handled it better than my mother. My mother.
Oh, your mother did. Okay.
Died in May of 2019, and then Kasie's father died in April of 2020. My mother found my father, and my mother told Kasie that she was freaking out and she was screaming and crying and running around, and she couldn't understand the operator. And I was nodding because when Kasie found her father, she called me because she wanted to make sure that it was okay to call 911. And so I said, Kasie, hang up and call 911. And then I live about 15 minutes away. And so I just started driving, and I called 911 while I was driving because I didn't know how clearly she would be able to speak. And, I just wanted them to know what was going on. And I requested the calls because as a mom, at a certain point, I just wanted to know what she had gone through, and I didn't want to ask her a bunch of questions and cause more pain. So I requested the recordings, and I actually just requested her recording, and they gave me mine too. And mine is like, I'm freaked out and I'm scared and I can't remember the address and I can't remember her father's age. And Kasie was as cool as a cucumber. And actually the operator did not suggest CPR, Kasie was like, do I need to do CPR? And the operator was like, yes. And Kasie was like, do I need to get him on the ground? And the operator was like, yes.
And it was
So
actually,
Kasie would.
it was what, yeah, and like just out of, yeah, and
Do you, Julie, do you have those recordings?
Yeah,
Would it be okay if we use them at all?
it's up to Kasie. It's
I give you permission.
Thank you, Kasie. I think it would help us understand
You're welcome.
how calm you were on the phone, you know, and I think that would help people understand your situation, you know, because the whole idea of our show, right, is we want to be in your shoes and we want to get your understanding and we want to know how you felt, right? Because nobody can, as much as we try to put on your shoes, we can't really do it unless you help us understand that. So that would really help us if you're okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's an honor to be on this show.
Well, it's an honor to have you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. So Kasie, what else do you want to tell me about your dad? Is there anything else you want to tell me before I talk to your mom for a few minutes?
Just how generous he really was.
Oh, he was generous?
Extremely, like, as in every Thanksgiving, he and a whole bunch of volunteers would cook for hundreds of homeless people in Immokalee.
Yeah. That's really cool that he would do that. Would you go help him when he would do that?
And for the start, then I'd go celebrate it with mom and uncle and two cousins from her side of the family and her mom.
Okay.
And I happened, and there'd be a bunch of other people helping too, and that he'd also for birth. Sometimes he'd like buy food for other people as his birthday presents, and and on a whim when when we'd be going to a restaurant and we'd see a family sitting down at a booth, he would pay for dinner for the whole family.
You would.
Wow. Did your dad teach you how to do that, or where did he learn that from, do you think?
I learned from him, but he just must have done it. Like, he just really loves to feed people, but I don't know why. And he's really just that he sold green beans for a living.
You said he sold green beans for a living. That's fun.
Yeah, for J&J Produce.
Okay. But he just really was generous. He would pay for people's meals. He would, just do really nice things for people. He would cook for the homeless at Thanksgiving. That's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah. Do you think he taught you in any way to be generous?
Yes, because he would say, because as a role model for me for modeling on that there are homeless people who don't know when their next opportunity to eat will be.
Wow. And so you saw him doing that and you thought, that's what I want to do too. I want to be generous. I want to help people where I can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kasie, what's something that you're absolutely certain about? Do you know of one thing that you're absolutely certain about?
I don't know of anything.
Okay. This is maybe a weird question, but do you believe that God was with you that day that your dad died and you called 911?
Yes, of course. Oh, I just, like, a light bulb just went off. I'm absolutely certain that God exists. that Jesus sacrificed his life on a cross to save us all from our sins.
And you're absolutely certain about that, right?
Yep. In fact, I've even heard from God himself.
What did he tell you?
And like sometimes like his me when he has like certain like anxiety attacks and stuff. Like and that's why I've heard different things from him, like mostly on like getting me down and reminding me that sometimes he'll say that I haven't lost my salvation.
That's good. Yeah. This is another maybe weird question for you, but is there anything you would change about that day?
Um, of course, if this was an option, I would have not wanted. It would have not wanted that day to go that way.
Right.
But if that wasn't an option, like unless it was, I would have wanted warning, would have wanted some advance notice.
Do you remember the last time you told your dad you loved him?
I don't know.
I think mom knows. Mom, when's the last time she said it? Do you know?
Well, I know she went and said goodbye to him and she told him that she loved him there. And I tried to write down everything that she said to him, after he had passed. And I couldn't remember all of it because like it was far away from the house and, it was just such a tough day. And, but I tried to write it all down for her so she wouldn't forget it later on. But she did say she loved him on that day. And I'm sure, biblically we know that, he knows that you love him and he's in a better place. So
I have a sneaking suspicion your dad was very proud of you. And I think just because I know this from a dad standpoint, right? I know you're not my daughter, Kasie, but I have a daughter too. She's 13. Her name is Adia, and it means gift from God in Swahili, by the way. That's what that means. And I know, I would hope I would know this, that my daughter knows that no matter what she does, no matter where she goes, no matter decisions she makes, good ones, bad ones, whatever, that dad will always love her. And I think your dad would probably, I think that would probably be true of your dad, even though I don't know him personally, but I believe he would say
Mom
that about
says
you.
that all I had to do to make Dad proud was just freaking wake up.
To just wake up in the morning and he was proud of you, right?
Yep, so anything you did beyond that would just make him more proud.
it is true.
That is true. I would imagine. Yep. Just wake up. Oh, that's good stuff. So
Yep,
Kasie,
and he brought and he brought his mom to one of my basketball games.
so he came to some basketball games with you.
He went to all the games, and sometimes he'd pay for. A lot of the times, actually, if not most, even all the time, he'd pay for dinner for the whole team and was sort of like their adoptive dad. All of them would make you pay for food on a Saturday, lunch on a Saturday, practice we had, and at the Pasadena National Syndrome Summit, he would pay for ice cream for everybody.
I needed to be around for that. I love ice cream. That's awesome. So Kasie, can you tell me about the first time you scored a basket in a basketball game? Because I know that was kind of a big deal for you. Can you tell me about that?
I'm not exactly about it, but I remember it feeling so awesome that having scored a basket was so amazing, and like I just wish I could play college ball, but I don't know if they have any openings without scholarships.
I think that's great. you've done something I've never done. Well, two things I've never done. I've never actually gone to college, so you're already a step ahead of me there. And I've actually never scored a basket in a real game before, like an organized school sport game. So that's you're doing better than me on that. Just want to let you know that.
Isn't like I remember when we won the district championship. Took a while to cool down after that, and it was so amazing that you were headbutting and putting and sled butting and like got a pictures beside my bed. In fact, is one of us all pointing number one after we won the championship, and when we went to the regional quarterfinals, I was pretty bummed to be knocked out.
Yeah, I mean, imagine
my teammates were too young.
Imagine if you'd have won the championship, the state championship. What would that have felt like? You know?
Whoa! I just would have. That's what I was really, really hoping for my teammates to, presumably. Like you're probably all hoping for it, and I was so effing like I had so much perseverance through it that I even kept on doing shooting drills in practice with my left arm after I landed on my right arm when it was pretty stretched out and broke it.
Wow. Kasie, I'm gonna ask your mom some questions.
Is that true, Mom?
That's true. Yeah. So Kasie, I'm gonna ask your mom some questions. Okay, are you okay with that?
Yep, of course.
Okay, just want to make sure you're in control. So I just want to make sure. So Julie, some tough questions, perhaps, maybe, and if you're good with us, maybe going down some tougher roads. So, when you were pregnant with Kasie, did you know that you were going to have this road that you were going to be walking with her?
I absolutely did not. It was a surprise, and even the Turner syndrome diagnosis, which was a surprise. Most women with Turner syndrome do not have this additional issue, so it was a surprise.
I just was wondering, like, they do those scans and prenatal stuff and all of that, so there was nothing indicating that she was going to be walking this road.
No, they did scans, but at the time, it was 2000. The technology was different. And then also he was doing in the ultrasound, he kept getting an odd measurement on her nuchal fold, which is the skin at the back of her neck. And that is a indicator of Down syndrome, but it also is an indicator of Turner syndrome, which is more rare than Down syndrome. But I remember him measuring it over and over again, but it was just on the cusp. And he said something like, well, but you guys said if anything was going on with the baby, you wouldn't change anything anyway. And we were not comfortable with amniocentesis. And I was young, her dad was older. He was 18 years older than me, but we had told the doctor beforehand that, we wanted this baby no matter what. So he just kept going on and everything. All the indicators were that she was healthy, and we did do the blood test, like the triple screen and stuff like that, and it was all normal. So no indicators that there would have been any problem. So it was definitely a shock at the hospital, but a good one because she was the cutest baby I've ever seen. So
you answered my question without even knowing it, and that was going to be my next question. Was there ever any thought, obviously, of abortion or anything like that, or ever any coaching from healthcare professionals saying, hey, it might be in your best interest to do a termination?
No, because we didn't know. There was never any discussion. I do know other parents who've gone through that, but it was not. And I'm glad it wasn't. I was so young and immature. I don't know what I would have thought. I might have been robbed of the experience of having Kasie in my life, and the world might have been robbed of Kasie, and she's got big things to do. And that's one of the things that she says God does tell her sometimes, is that she has a big purpose. So
that's why I'm here.
That's why you're here, right, Kasie?
Yeah.
Because you got a big purpose. I love that. Mom, I love that. That's some good stuff, Julie. So so how rare is Turner syndrome? Can you give us some stats on that?
It is approximately 1 in 2,500 live female births. So every 2,500 girls that are born, one of them likely has Turner syndrome. But it is responsible. It's probably the most prevalent reason for a miscarriage before the second trimester. So it's just a very common chromosomal abnormality. It just happens. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's nothing that you do to make it happen or don't do to make it not happen. It just happens. But the interesting thing is that girls who are alive with Turner syndrome beat out the odds. They only had a 1% chance of survival. 99% of fetuses with Turner syndrome are spontaneously miscarried. So she is already a fighter. So that's how I know she's going to be just fine.
Kasie, how do you feel about that, being a fighter, knowing that?
It makes me feel good that I beat the odds just to be born.
Right. Now that makes sense. When your dad said he would just get excited that you would wake up in the morning, that comment now makes more sense to me.
He thought she was magic, and she is, but he got so much joy out of her. Kind of guy that her favorite color was orange, so pretty much every shirt in his wardrobe had some sort of orange in it, you know. And
I think that was his favorite color too, if I remember correctly.
Because it was yours. It was never his favorite color until you came around.
It's so like he was wearing it just for me.
Yeah.
No, that made me start to feel bad about that.
No, he liked it because you liked it, and he liked you so much. It just kind of rubbed off on him. And the same thing with tie-dye. Like, I'm not sure who liked tie-dye first, but they both pretty much everything that they owned was tie-dye. So they were a matched pair, Kasie and her dad. So
Kasie, what's your dad's name?
Carl.
Carl. I like it. All right. So, Kasie, my favorite color is light blue. I bet you could probably tell that, huh?
If I can see.
Yeah, I have a lot of light blue. My shirt's a little light. You can't really tell on the camera, but it's kind of light blue. But my wall's behind me, and the shirt
And the
on
shirt
my
I'm
chair.
wearing now, by the way, isn't tie-dye, but it's a red shirt that reads in white letters. Never trust an atom. They make up everything.
Never trust a what?
An atom. They make up everything.
Oh, never trust an atom. They make up everything. That's a science joke, right?
Yep.
It took me a second to kind of get that. So I'm not a good science guy. So I might need your help. I might need to call you if I need some science help. Are you okay with that?
Of course.
Okay, good. Okay. So Kasie, what is the best part about going to college for you?
Maybe I'm knowing I'm making progress, however slowly, towards my life's dreams and goals, and having a sense of purpose without having to do some type of job for a living that I go insane keeping on doing it until I made it to retirement age, which would be a long time for me because I'm still young. I'm so young.
Do you want to work for NASA, Kasie? Is that your goal?
Maybe as a son, somewhere just anywhere that where I could be doing research in the field of astronomy someday. Anywhere that has the best openings and test connections, and TESS, by the way, stands for Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite. You can you can Google it.
I will. I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm gonna put my team on that and figure out what that was. So can you say it one more time for me?
TESS, TESS, all caps.
And what does it stand for again?
Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite. And exoplanets, by the way, are planets in other solar systems.
Okay, Kasie, I'm gonna really put you on the spot with your science and space trivia. Are you ready? Can you help me with something that I've been wanting to ask someone who's really smart, and you fit in that category with this question? Okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Is Pluto still a planet?
And Pluto got to, not officially, even though there are a lot of people where in their hearts they feel it still is, even though officially it got demoted, but it's still a dwarf planet. And the reason for the demotion by the International Astronomical Union is because it hasn't cleared its neighborhood. They came up with a formal definition of planet that meant it had to orbit the sun or another star, and had to be rounded and had to have enough gravity to be rounded in shape, and it had to have enough gravity to clear its neighborhood too. And Pluto failed to clear its neighborhood because it's got so many comet nuclei, and even other dwarf planets like Eris and Maki in its vicinity. It even crosses the orbit of Neptune for about 20 years at a time during each orbit.
Mom's head it just exploded, just so you know.
No, it didn't.
I'm sorry, that was probably not a good joke, but she was just saying that it was so much information, and she just was like, wow, that's crazy stuff. So
As in her head exploded or Pluto exploded?
Well, maybe both.
Maybe Pluto, maybe.
Yeah, maybe both. So Kasie, do you have two questions on space? If we can continue down this road, do you have a favorite constellation?
I'm not sure. Each constellation has different interesting things in it. For example, Pavo in the southern sky, so you can't see it, and it's only visible from the southern hemisphere. There are a lot of observatories near the start of the equator in the Andes that mostly test could put me in this direction, but I'm not sure where there's where one of the stars in there called HD 186 is, here's also a sun star that might have actually been born in the same nebula as the sun.
Wow, that's cool.
And from the same amount of mass. And we don't know, but it's a really recent discovery, so no planets have been detected orbiting it so far. And in Cetus, there's a star about the same distance away, just in the direction of a different southern constellation that's, or maybe it might be on both hemispheres. Cetus, the star is called HIP 11915, and it's a G-class star. Also, in the planet, not quite as, because 186, and the planet has been discovered orbiting it that's about the same mass as our own Jupiter, but that might be like, because planets like that have been discovered around a lot of other stars, but this one actually acts like the Jupiter we know and love, having a nice orbit way far out that takes 12 Earth years to complete.
Well, that was going to be my next question.
That was going to be
That was going to be my. Oops, sorry, Kasie. That was going to be my next question. Is what's your favorite planet other than Earth? Do you have one?
I'm not sure if I'm going to finish answering this one
Oh, sorry.
because
Yep. Go ahead.
most of the gas giants that have been found in other solar systems they don't act like the Jupiter we know and love. And because they're or either because they're way close in, so close that they're squeezed into like rugby ball shapes, and they have tails like currents of atmosphere being blown off, and their year takes just a few of our days, and the temperatures can get high enough to fire porcelain.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, but there's probably not going to be an Earth in the same solar system as one of those so-called hot Jupiters, because as one would migrate inwards, which is still really mysterious, by the way, on how that happens, because they can't be born that close, and because of all the dynamics of how planets accrete around a young star. Yeah, and also some of them follow like almost straight line orbits like a comet, which would also kick an Earth out of the system if there originally was one. Those are called eccentric Jupiters. Their seasons could be caused by actual distance from the star rather than just tilting axis like on Earth. And would be really extreme too, because they get between such those distances, and then distances that can be up to about where Mars is in our solar system. And on my favorite planet in our solar system, it's actually on my favorite planet, actually, if you count exoplanets, it would probably be HIP 11915b.
Why that one?
Because that's the gas giant that acts like the Jupiter we know and love in another solar system, which means there could be an Earth in there.
That'd be pretty cool, right?
Yep, there would be. Yeah, that would be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Kasie, I want to kind of wrap up our time together. Do you want to play a game with me?
Yep, of course.
Okay. All right. So I have this little cup in my hand. It's from my favorite college. Now, this is the college I always wanted to go to, but I never went to. So you know. But this college is called the University of North Carolina. Have you ever heard of them?
I know it is. I remember it because I was part of a growth hormones study there.
Oh, you went to Chapel Hill.
Yeah, for Turner syndrome. Like I was, a few times every year, and I went to once every year where I was gonna have lots of measurements. One of your endocrinologists, Dr. Davenport, I remember her. She was nice, and then she tried at the end of this study to see if those growth hormones really worked, and they did.
Were they nice to you at Chapel Hill?
Yep.
Okay, good. Because if they weren't, I would write them a letter and tell them to be nice to my friend Kasie. So I would write him a letter.
Yeah.
Okay. So can Mom play too, or should it just be me and you?
You're more than welcome to join in if you want to.
All right, Mom's gonna join in too. So I'm gonna roll the die. There's a die in here. Can you hear it? It's really loud. Mm-hmm. Sorry if it's so loud.
Don't need to be sorry.
Okay. So I rolled for you because you're not in Oregon. You're in Florida. And so you get to tell me this question. This is a game we like to call senseless. How many senses do we have, Kasie? Do you know? It's a trick question. That's right. We have 5. That was a trick question. So if you see here, you got a number 3. That's what you rolled. I rolled for you first. Mom's going to go next. But Kasie, what's the greatest thing you've ever smelled?
Maybe for Jacob's 12th birthday, which was this year. Not exactly how long ago though, when my mom was baking a peanut butter chocolate cake recipe for it.
And
You said I can remember, but probably a common theme is baking. That some of the best things you've ever smelled were certain cakes and brownies cooking in the oven.
do you like brownies with ice cream?
Yep, and cakes too, and cookies. Like it just for like literally. I think if I got if I if I met a genie who would grant me 3 wishes, probably one of them would be for desserts to be as good for you as they are palatable. In addition to dad back and world peace.
Those are some great 3 wishes. Maybe I should turn that into a game. Like if you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for? That's a great game.
That might be a good question that you could have as a twist in a game of Would You Rather.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea, Kasie. Thanks for giving me some show content too. That's fun. So I appreciate that. Look at you. You're a genius. All right, so this is for Mom. Mom's going to roll. So Julie, this is for you.
Okay.
All right, Julie, you got number 1. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so number 1 is this. How do you want others to see you?
Oh, dear.
You get like a deep question. Kasie got kind of an easy question.
I suppose I want other people to see me like God wants me to be. So it would be a lifelong struggle because I'm always trying to present myself in the best possible light. And I think God just wants me to be who I am. So that's, I guess, how I want them to see me.
Like it. So Kasie, if you can lean forward for me for just a second, I want to give you, and I want to make sure everyone can hear you really well. So make sure you stay close. Okay. What is one thing you want someone to know about you that you haven't told us already?
I'm thinking.
Good. I want you to think. Yep. Got any ideas yet?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay. Julie, I got a question for you while she thinks. Can I ask Mom a question while you think, Kasie? Is that cool? Okay.
Maybe that might give me an idea.
All right. When you're ready, can you just throw your hand up for me when you're ready?
Okay.
Okay. So, Julie, what's the hardest part about being Kasie's mom?
Now that she's an adult, I think the hardest part is watching her struggle and knowing that it's not appropriate for me to fix it for her anymore. Because I truly do believe what she told me, that, she told me one day that God told her that she has an important purpose. And if I do everything for her, then she will be less equipped for that purpose. So the hardest thing is just watching her struggle, especially through her father's death. And, her, as soon as he died, wanting to still go away to school, away from home for the first time. And the school is harder, and that's a struggle, and she's lonely and she's grieving. And I want to go there and just stay with her. And it's hard not to do that, but I trust God with her. And I know that he's going to bring something good out of this, and he is going to finish the great work he began when he
actually on what you were talking about, and you said that you want to stay as long as you wouldn't be anything from you. Actually, be welcome if you could, like if it was a loud and you wouldn't be abandoning Jacob and Daniel.
Do you want your mom to come see you in school and stay with you?
I just want to I don't want to force her, but I wanted to make sure that she knew that she was welcome, that she's always welcome.
Thank you, Kasie.
That's very nice, Kasie. Did you think of something that you want people to remember about you? Is that a hard question?
It's a question still, and something I want people to know is that that to me, small mistakes can feel very big.
Small mistakes can feel very big. Yeah.
I think she's referring to, Kasie, and correct me if I'm wrong, but because of her autism, sometimes she doesn't know, like what everybody else knows. Like she's so brilliant in planning, science, and things like that, but sometimes she doesn't understand what the expectations are. So like if you give Kasie a list and say, do this, and this, she'll do them in the order that she sees them on the list to get done, not realizing that one needed to be done before the other. Or a little mistake like that, or being late or something like that. There's so much stuff going on in her mind. And sometimes those little mistakes, since she doesn't realize things that everybody else knows, they feel huge. And she's just really hard on herself a lot. Did I say it right, Kasie?
Yeah.
Well, I just want you to know, I consider myself a very fulfilled person, even more now because I got to meet you, Kasie, and I got to interact with you today.
You're welcome.
You're very smart, and you're just an amazing young woman. And I thank you for coming on and giving us and talking about not only giving us a part of your life, but sharing your life with us and talking about a very traumatic time, with your dad. That was some tough stuff. I just want you to know that. And I'm thankful that you were trusting enough in us, even though we don't know each other, that you trusted me with your pain today. Thank you for that.
Yes, dear, I'd actually really enjoy it if I got the chance to meet you in person.
I would love that. If you ever come to Oregon or I ever go to Florida, we'll look each other up. How's that sound?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kasie, I'm going to end our show but hang out, okay? Because I want to pray for you guys and just say some just really nice words to you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, I just want to call your attention to the fact that we never know what shoes we're going to be in each and every week. We just never know. And I just want to thank you guys again so much for joining us today. I know there was probably some audio challenges and there was some background noise with some dogs and all of that. But, here's the best part. We never know what size shoes we're going to be in. We never know what style we're going to be in. We never know. And to me, it's the never knowing that makes this show so amazing. My heart breaks for this young lady in Florida who had to come into a room and see her dad, and all she could think about was trying to save his life. And to me, those are some heavy shoes to walk in, and I'm grateful that she's given us her heart today. I'm grateful that she has shared her life with us. And guys, I say this every week, and I mean it when I say it. When you walk in other people's shoes, you really do get a different perspective on life. I cannot even imagine what she's walked through, not only with that death of her father, but the challenges and the roads that she's had to walk through. But now she's in college. She's studying astronomy. You could tell her space knowledge is far superior than anyone I've ever interacted with. And I'm grateful that I've gotten a chance to know this young lady. I'm grateful for her mom for setting this up for us, for our friend Adria who led us down this road. Guys, I just want to call your attention to that. As we close out today's show, just remember this. The person you see is not always the person that is on the inside. Let that be a cautionary tale to us today. Get deep inside of someone's heart because you just may be changed forever, like I have been today. Thank you guys again for listening. Stay tuned till next week when we walk in other people's shoes. Thank you so much for joining us on Other People's Shoes. As you know, I'm your host, Neil Matthews. Thank you so much for joining us today. Want to say thank you again to our guests, Kasie and Julie. What a great mom-daughter relationship they have. And to me, there is nothing sweeter in life than to see that. And I hope today your takeaway, much like my takeaway, is sometimes we got to hug a little tighter this holiday season. Sometimes we got to kiss a little sweeter this holiday season because we just never know when that loved one in our life might be gone. And Kasie, I hope you hear this and I hope you really understand. We really appreciate what you shared. We love your courage. We love how brilliant you are. And Kasie, you are a phenomenal young woman, and I cannot wait to hear about you down the way helping our NASA team. So Kasie, thank you again on behalf of everyone here at Other People's Shoes. With that said, guys, I want to give you a little sneak preview of next week's episode. We get to sit down with a very good friend of mine. His name is Terrell, and Terrell has a very fascinating story of what happened when.
Because everything that happened in my life, I feel like I had to learn at a very young age. And I know there's a bunch of stories out there, people, that ask the same question, that hold that kind of resentment. And sometimes their family isn't in the picture in those things. And it's pretty sad, actually. But like I said, I'm going to throw them credit simply just because to make that decision and for me to actually be consciously aware of the decision they're going to make.
That is right. We're not going to have to travel very far. Well, we're going to leave the studio to go to the dining room. That's right. We're going to do a dining room interview. Super fun when that happens because I love to get people at my table really understanding where I sit. And so it's really kind of fun. So join us next week. My friend Terrell stops by and he's going to tell us his what happened when. Guys, let me tell you, it is a powerful story. I don't know where we find these stories, but they keep coming to us and we're going to keep presenting them to you. So just want to call your attention to that. That'll take place on Wednesday. OPSpodcast.com, of course, is the place to be to listen to our show each and every week. You can go there. You can listen straight from there. Don't even have to leave it. Of course, if you want to subscribe, you can listen through your other podcast platforms, which we're okay with. But guys, you can listen straight from the website, OPSpodcast.com. Speaking of OPSpodcast.com, while you're there, there is, of course, a store there. You can buy some stuff for the holiday season for that OPS Podcast fan in your life or the Other People's Shoes fan in your life. You can get them some merch. We have quite a few things to choose from, and I'm pretty sure we can find something for that fan on your list. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on next season, we are in production now, and we would love to have you be a part of that. Just click on that Be Our Guest tab, and you can fill out some basic information, and we'll get some information in your hand how you can be a future guest on Other People's Shoes. With all that said, just want to say thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned till next week when we get to walk in Other People's Shoes.